Hi everyone, Professor Sweeter here, and I am taking the time to record a short video for you to introduce you to your midterm project. Now I have to do it. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off really fast. Your midterm project for this class is to develop and present a speech. It's a presentation. I understand that many of you maybe public speaking isn't your idea of a good time. It might be something that you were trying to avoid, only to enter this class and realize that your midterm is a speech. And I do want to remind you that when we talk about communications, and especially interpersonal communications, we really would be remiss if we did not include some sort of public speaking aspect to it. I think you'll find that in your adult life, especially during your career, you're going to be in many situations where you are put in the position of having to deliver a speech, oftentimes impromptu with very little opportunity to prepare. And so this particular activity is designed to give you some practice for that and to give you some insight into what it is to deliver a speech. So yes, I'm sorry, don't throw things. Your midterm presentation is going to be a speech. So what I'd like to do is take a little bit of time today and show you exactly what you can expect for this particular midterm speech. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that painful. I am biased, I realize that, but I also want to remind you that it is my job to facilitate this and make sure that this is as, painless as possible. So please realize that I recognize that speeches are intimidating, to say the least. And so my goal is to make this a really smooth and easy process where I'm going to help you as best I can. So let's take a look at the speech in Blackboard. So when you go to Blackboard, I am, of course, in course projects and then on midterm project. And this is the folder with all of the information for you regarding this assignment. Right here in big black letters is essentially the objective. This is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be preparing and delivering a 6 to 8 minute speech on any topic. And then right below that is where you can download a copy of that speech as well. So here is the actual assignment. All right. And as it says at the top there, public speaking is linked to communications. You can't separate one from the other. So again, as I said before, we would be remiss if we didn't include public speaking in this class. So let's talk about what you're going to be presenting. All right. For this presentation, you're going to prepare and deliver a 6 to 8 minute speech on any topic. And I do want to emphasize any topic. Please, please, please don't get worked up about what your topic is, if it sounds smart enough or it's good enough. I have seen topics ranging from a detailed analysis of the benefits of veganism to stuff on stem cell research, to stuff on police brutality, to stuff as simple as how to eat a cupcake the right way. And you know what? It sounds silly to compare police brutality with cupcakes, but the reality is these were all excellent speeches, and the way people designed them and developed them and the techniques they used made for excellent speeches. So please realize it's not the topic, it's not the subject you choose to speak on, it is how you develop it. And so with that, I encourage you to think about a topic that is interesting to you or something you want to know more about or something that you consider yourself an expert in. All right. And go with that for your topic. All right. How to complete this assignment. I like to break things up into steps. So here's step one. Step one is a thesis statement, goal, and topic paragraph. For that, you are going to be submitting to me just a little bit of information about what you are planning to speak on. I do need to approve your topics before you start developing your outlines. And the reason for that is, first of all, to make sure that you have a solid thesis and also that your thesis will work for this particular assignment. A lot of times people tend to go very broad with their topics. And so I'm going to try to help you narrow your topic down and have a really solid thesis because that's a good place to start from. The other reason why I need to approve topics ahead of time is quite simply because every now and then people do come up with topics that are a little bit incendiary, and I want to do my best to help you, I guess, soften that a little bit, or to, make sure that we discuss any potential pushback you might get from a particular topic. It doesn't happen often, but it's good to do. It's a good fail-safe for the both of us. All right, so what you're going to be doing is, for step one, you are going to be doing the following. First of all, you're going to come up with a sentence just explaining what your topic is. All right, what is your topic? What are you going to be talking about? From that, I'm looking for a goal about your presentation. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to convince us? Are you trying to entertain us? Are you trying to persuade us of something? From that, a fully developed thesis statement. And I want to encourage you to watch the other video I created about thesis statements. You can find that in the same project folder that you found this assignment to. All right. And then below that, a short paragraph summarizing the main points you're going to discuss. And then your citations for at least 2 sources. You need to have a total of 3 sources for this assignment, but I'm looking for 2 just to start with. All right. So that's the first part of the project. The second part is the outline. And this is where people, I think, get a little bit confused. When you give a speech is not something that you read off paper and you read to your audience. That's not a speech. And I realize that in our country today, when you watch the news, when you watch politicians, I happen to be recording this on election day, so you can think about what's in my mind. But when you think about what politicians say when they come on stage, they absolutely have a written speech. They have teleprompters next to them, and they're reading as they're speaking. The reality is this: they're in a position where there's a lot of liability and there's a lot of risk in terms of public speaking. So it's very, very important that they have a set speech. It's written by an army of speechwriters, and that they stick to their script. That's not actually how a real speech works, though. A real speech happens to be more where you're talking from the heart, you're talking freely, as I am doing right now. I have notes that I'm working from, and I'm looking at these notes, and that's how I know what I want to say next. But it's not a written speech. I'm not reading. All right. So that brings me to step 2, which is the outline. The outline is a highly detailed outline. It's going to be your roadmap for the entire speech. And I want to encourage you to look in Blackboard in the project folder, where you'll see I've given you a video about how to do a good outline, essentially what I'm looking for. There are sample outlines there, and there's also a template to work from. So you're going to be creating a very formal, organized, bulleted or numbered outline that goes through all of the information that is listed here: your topic, your goal, your thesis statement, your hook, your main points, the details, your conclusion. And it's essentially your speech written out right there. All right, that's step 2. Step 3 is, of course, your presentation. You are going to be creating a presentation. You're going to be recording it in MindTap. And as we get later to the presentation date, I will be recording videos for you on how to write hooks and transitions and how to upload your speech. All right. Your presentation will be 6 to 8 minutes long. 6 is the minimum. 8 is the maximum. So you're trying to focus on that short amount of time. It will be live in the sense that you are recording it directly into MindTap. You are not recording it in another program and then splicing versions of it together. It's got to be a one-shot take. The instructions that I've given you here, please realize that this assignment is also for on-ground classes. So you can see there's a little bit of a difference there. It is not technically a live presentation because we're recording it. I personally do not require a visual because I find it gets really distracting, especially if you have like a picture or PowerPoint that takes up the screen and then you can't see who's actually talking. Note cards, I can't require you to have note cards when we're online. So a lot of times people just use their outlines, but what you will have is definitely a final revised version of your outline. All right, so there you go. Couple tips for you for creating a successful presentation. First of all, I mentioned this before, that specific thesis statement. You want to make sure that thesis statement is strong, strong, strong. From there, you're going to build a highly detailed outline. And I've given you tips here about not overestimating what your audience knows. You want to engage them. You want to explain your ideas. You actually want to keep it relatively simple. From there, you're going to bring your research into your presentations. You can use quotes. You can use specific sources. You can use specific examples to help bolster your argument. I ask you to personalize your ideas, and that can be either real or hypothetical. You can tell stories with it to make your content more relatable. And then, of course, to be creative with this. All right. And then below, I've given you some other suggestions, what people have done in the past for their topics. I clearly need to add to it a little bit because that list is very, very short, but there's a lot of different options for topics. And of course, if you're not sure, you can bounce your ideas off of me. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how I like to run this project. I've given you the general overview. I've shown you where you can find it in Blackboard. A couple key things that you should know about how I like to do this project in my classes. First of all, I like to work with you on it the entire way. So what you're going to see is as you submit the different parts of this project, you're going to get a lot of feedback from me. Okay. As you submit step 1, that's the thesis statement, I'll be reading them, I'll be reacting to them, and then I will email you back or through Blackboard with specific feedback. In some cases, I might ask you to redo the assignments and to resubmit. In other cases, you'll be okay to go right away. Please note that after you resubmit, you will get full credit for submitting a concrete thesis statement and topic. All right. Same thing with your outlines. I ask you to submit a rough draft of your outline, and then I actually, it takes me a long time to do this, guys, but I actually sit down and I read through every single one, and I give you highly, highly detailed feedback on the outlines that you submit. If you submit it as a Word document, I will return it to you with track changes. If you submit it as a PDF, I actually have a special pen that I can write on my computer with and send the message back to you. And then I also use this rubric, which I'll be posting in a little bit, and I'll tell you where you are in terms of your grade for that project at that time. I also like to hold one-on-one meetings if you feel stuck or lost, if you just need a little help refining some of your ideas. So please know that you and I are heavily invested in this process from start to finish. All right. Please remember to refer to your calendar in Blackboard and your syllabus to see when the exact due dates for each of the assignments are, because it will change based upon what section your class is. But overall, this is a really neat activity. A lot of times I hear from students after the fact that it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And I think a lot of that's because of just the care and the preparation that we put into it. All right, my friends, so there you have it, your midterm speech. They're going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to them. And I promise to do my best to help you put together a really good speech.